Hello, and welcome to another Gamertech stream. My name is Tal, and this is my trusty colleague Frank.
Good to see you all again. We're back here with part two of the NAS. We've done the hardware. Now it's time to learn a little bit about the software behind this box.
Absolutely. So what we'll be doing today is we'll be installing the operating system, and we will then look at deploying and configuring Truenas Core, setting up our storage pools, um, making sure that we are have all of our settings in place, and then going over to the one of our computers and making sure that we can access the NAS from elsewhere in the network, and then that will be it.
And as a NAS noob, I'm going to learn what all these things actually mean.
So we seem to be having some technical issues today, and I think I'm not really sure what's going on, to be honest. The stream keeps dropping out, and yeah, and I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what the issue is. So we're going to try and crack on, and hopefully it's going to be okay. But everything looks to be fine on our end in terms of the stream devices and everything. But we just keep getting a dropout of signal, I think, from the camera every now and then. So we'll try and fix that for next time. I've made no excuses that we are, and I am especially, very new at streaming. So it's a bit of a hit and miss sometimes.
Work in progress.
It's a work in progress. We'll hopefully become a lot better at this as time goes on, and that we have better equipment and better understanding of the software and everything else as well. So yes, thank you. So we'll be finishing off the install of our NAS, which is what we're going to be using for all of our video files. We will install the operating system, deploy, configure, and then test that it's all working.
I'm glad we sat down this week.
Yes. It was bad backs all around last week. Yeah. Need a higher desk. I need a up and downy desk. Okay, so first things first. I have a Truenas Core on this little storage device here. It's just a little USB thing. So I guess to start, I will just point out that you need to prepare your media to install Truenas properly. So you'll need to go to the Truenas website where you can download either Truenas Core or Truenas Scale, and then you will need to use a program called Balana Etcher, and that's I'll put a link in the description, but BALENA ETCHER, Balana Etcher, which is a software for flashing files onto little storage devices. But crucially, it does it for non-Windows things like Linux, and in this case, FreeBSD. So that brings us on to one of the things that is different between Truenas Core and Truenas Scale. We talked about it a bit previously, right?
Yeah.
So the kind of basic difference is that Truenas Core has been going for about 15 years. It's really tried and tested, and Truenas Scale has been only out for about a year. It's good, but it's not quite as trusted yet as Truenas Core.
Not as robust.
Truenas Core is built on FreeBSD, which is the operating system, which is a kind of offshoot of Linux.
Okay. So is it open source?
Yes. All of Truenas is open source. And Truenas Scale is built on Linux Debian, which is a different offshoot. I'm not a huge Linux person. I've learned a lot in the last couple of years since I've been preparing to launch this business, but it's still, I'm no expert. So, but obviously I know how to use, deploy, and configure TrueNAS, and also Unraid as well, which is one of the other pieces of software or the OS we'll be using for our NAS devices. So yeah, so you use Balanarecha to get your operating system onto your little device. You guys can't see this, but I'll then plug this into our USB here, and then we can turn this on and crack on. Now at this point, hold on, Frank. I know you're excited.
I want to pull the trigger.
At this point, Frank is going to moonlight as a cameraman and co-host.
You should pay me extra.
I'm not paying you anything to start with, so
yeah. So then technically I've got 100% raise.
Yes, well done. You can have that 100% raise. So Frank's just going to free hand the camera. Oh, that's...
That might mean that the issue is... Oh, it's back. There we go. I think we might have a cable issue, you know.
Yeah.
We'll check that for the next round.
We might have a cable issue. Oh, this is an absolute disaster. Right. Okay.
You want to hold that for a moment, and I'll just check. Because you've got this here, haven't you?
No, it's not. It's the cam link here, Frank. That's. I'm just going to. Sorry, we're going to try and sort these camera issues. Frank, if you can come back and hold this, there's nothing at the front there. All right. Well, we seem to have something going on now. Just try and keep it. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, not much we can do about this at the moment, unfortunately. So we'll just switch over then to HDMI. We'll get the server on. It's a bit loud at the beginning. And then, oh, okay, hold on. Thanks, Rich. Rich is just confirming that we're getting some mild flicker. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. Right. So it takes a little while for this server to boot up. The motherboard actually has I think a 60-second wind up time before it actually boots. So we'll have to wait for that.
Now that we've got the USB in the NAS, is it now looking to that as a boot drive? And
yeah, exactly.
During this process,
yeah,
like a like a Windows boot drive.
Exactly the same. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we should be getting some signal very soon.
So how big's the OS then? Because I mean, a lot of Linux things are a lot smaller than something like Windows.
Oh, it's tiny. Yeah, it's probably less than a gigabyte.
Oh wow!
Maybe a few gigabytes. It's really small footprint. I've got two 120 gig SSDs, SATA SSDs in there for running the OS, and they are wildly over spec.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Sounds like you.
Yeah. Well, you know, you've got to redundancy is key. Right. So we're getting some power coming to our keyboard, which means we should be very soon getting some power to, or at least some signal to our monitor.
Hear the drives clicking away.
I hope I haven't missed the. Let's come back to DisplayPort again. Here we go. Right, we have actually missed the, because we weren't getting a signal. We need to grab the. Right, I'm just going to undo this for the time being. Going to take out this DisplayPort. The wonders of live television. So what we need to do is we need to get to the BIOS stage essentially, and then just press F11, which is now
like catching the post sort of thing. Is that right?
That's it. And then we can boot from our USB device rather than
menu.
So this is the boot menu. So please select boot device. You can see we've got some things I played around with earlier, but we're going to go down to SanDisk and just click this because this is our USB.
Is that listing all of the drives that contribute to the NAS in there?
That's listing all of the drives in there. Yeah. So there's I think 12 HDDs. There's 2 OS drives and 2 M.2 SSDs.
Yeah, there they are now.
That's all of them here. All right. So this is the TrueNAS installer, and we'll just boot into the installer. What we'll do here is perhaps just zoom in on the do you want to no zoom.
That's probably good enough.
Yeah, okay. So we go to install, and then we want to, it says choose destination media. So this is for your operating system install. So we want to just select by using spacebar the 2 drives that we have for our operating system. You can see that these are all the drives here, and we've got the 2 M.2 fast drives down here. We don't want to use those because this is all for storage. All of this is for storage. We're going to use these 2 as our operating system drives. So we just click OK. We're going to do a fresh installation. And we're going to format the boot device. Okay, this will, as it says here, erase all of the partitions and all of the data that we have on those drives already. I've been playing around with them, just having a little look and play with the system, obviously, but we're going to just do a fresh install. All right, so I'm going to do a. This is your root password. So this is essentially the administrator's password. This is your in Linux root access means that you have access to be able to basically change anything.
Right, so
it's the most powerful user account on the system.
Is it the equivalent of like a BIOS lock or a BIOS password for a home computer, or is it just not the same thing?
It's not the same thing. It allows you to have full control over the system, whereas you may set up other user accounts that have different privileges. Only one person and one, the administrator will have root
could be
access.
Only one.
Yes. So we're going to boot by UEFI, which is for mostly newer motherboards. And then we will create a swap partition.
What's a swap partition for?
So I believe it's just like a swap file. So just a small amount of space to like a page file.
Oh, right, yeah.
So this is just going to install now. This is just going to install. We're going to leave this for, 30 seconds to a minute or something, and it's just going to do all of its installation. And then after a minute or so, it's just going to tell us that the install is done and that we should take out the installation media and then reboot.
Seems a little bit more hassle-free than Windows. Nothing.
It's really simple, actually. The complexity or the of it's not the right word. This OS isn't Linux or FreeBSD isn't complex. It's just you just have to learn it. If you don't know it, you don't know it. You have to learn how to use it. And once you learn how to use it, it's very powerful and very simple to use. Here we go. Please reboot and remove the installation media. So I'm just going to pull that out now. Okay, you can see that that's detached. It just tells you everything.
Perif destroyed. Excellent.
Well, not destroyed. Just
sounds a bit dramatic.
Just removed. Okay, so we'll now just reboot the system. And then again, we'll just have to wait a short while for it to boot up. Here we go. So this is the SAS drive. It's the SAS card. I forget the name of it now. Not the RAID card, but the host bus adapter. That's what it's called. And that's just initializing, and then it's basically turning on all of the hard drives. It's initializing the hard drives, and it's spinning them up ready for use. As you can see here, the ASRock rack. That's the manufacturer of our motherboard, which is kind of prosumery, entry enterprisey kind of grade. We talked about
in between. Yeah,
exactly. So this is just doing its boot up now. This is just the first boot, and again, it will take just a couple of minutes. The good thing about operating systems, this is going to take a long time, but thankfully it doesn't.
At least it's honest.
No, it's actually really dishonest because it's done. I don't know why it says that. I'm assuming that when FreeBSD came out, which is the core of this operating system, probably the hardware was a lot slower.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
So we're doing it this way with the camera pointed at the screen because I don't yet have a capture card. So what we're going to do is once we get this installed, we will move back over to the main streaming PC and we'll just log on to the web interface, the web UI from the streaming PC, and then
that makes sense.
We'll just be able to continue as normal without this silly view of pointing a camera at a screen, which is
which is what we mocked our parents for.
Very 1990s, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Okay, we're ready to go. So what we have here is all of our configurations. So this is our setup console that is basically directly, which is a direct connection to the system. We can configure the things that we need to configure here, so that our system can connect to our network. Now, word of warning: I did also just change my the router so that we actually have a pfSense router running now. So I'm hoping that we should just have that's all been set up today as well, and we should have DHCP running that will just assign us an IP address. We can see here that we have been assigned an IP address for the web interface. Now, I did look at that earlier, and strangely, the web interface was not this. So I don't know why that is. That's a little bit above my pay grade when it comes to just Linux in general or FreeBSD in general. But I think we should be okay to proceed over to the UI, web UI now, and then hopefully we'll be connected. Let's see what we've got here. That should be fine. Okay, so Frank, if you want to get the camera back in place.
Yep. I'll go mobile again.
And I will switch us over to the main PC. All right. How are you looking there?
Definitely not as adept as Jen with this thing.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's not easy, I must say.
It is an inconvenience.
Right. So, what we need to do now, I think, is go into our. So I'm just going to go to. Let's see. It should now be a desktop. So I'm going to connect to our router first. Which I'm just going to check on our feed here that this is working properly. Yep, we seem to have a desktop and we seem to have our image as well. Great success. So I'm going to sign into the pfSense web UI first, which is our router UI. So we're going to find out what the IP address is that has been assigned to our NAS.
Okay? And that's done automatically by a new router.
Yes, I mean that would be done automatically really by any router unless you decide to turn DHCP off, which is the kind of automatic allocation of IP addresses.
Okay.
So we'll go to status and then DHCP leases. And then we can see here that it's not there. Okay. That is interesting. Let's try something else. Let's just go into this table here. It's desktop. No, okay. Right, here we go. Show all configured leases. So we should have. We do not. Oh, I think this is it here. Frank, would you be kind enough just to go to the other side of the NAS, and we're just looking for the. I'm not sure if it will say it on there, but there's a. Can you see the RJ45 network port?
Yeah.
Can you actually see the MAC addresses on there?
Nothing on the outside to illustrate the MAC address.
Okay. No drama. I think we can see it in here. Yes. Okay. Can you have a little look here, Frank? We've got two little stickers on there.
Oh yes.
And that gives us a MAC address. We're looking for one that ends in A2-4A. I think that's the one.
We've got A24B and A24C on there.
Interesting. So A24B and A24C, yes?
Yes.
And that's the one that's plugged into the
this one here.
Yeah. Don't stick your fingers in there. Okay, that's fine. A24B and A24C.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, I'll just stick the roof back on this thing because it just gets a bit loud. Okay, so we'll have to figure this out. Let's have a little look. So that is not connected.
Yeah, lease type expired.
Offline. Okay. So we may have to do some things back in the console first. You're not going to be able to see this now. Never mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to configure the network interfaces. And I'm going to configure the DNS to point it to the DNS server. And hopefully that will be enough. So I'll just be a few seconds here while I do this. So the local DNS is 1111. All right. Do we need to reboot? Let's just try a reboot. Wait, 1 second. Okay, so we're going to try a reboot on the Truenas server now, and then we're going to move back over to. Well, we'll just wait for this to reboot. So what I've done here is I have just pointed the DNS server or the DNS to the router. So that's basically hopefully now going to be able to see the router, and then the router will assign it an IP address.
I see. So it just didn't know it was there.
Yeah, essentially.
In layman's terms.
Yeah. So we're just going to wait for a quick reboot now. Right. Swap keyboards and right. Stopping ZFS. Yep.
You know when you see like a mobile phone advert and it says like sequences shortened? Here we have sequences lengthened or sequences in real time.
By quite some distance, yes. Yeah. Right. Probably don't want to leave up the MAC addresses of all my devices. It won't make any difference really. But
fix it in post.
Right, so we're rebooting now into Truenas. And we'll just have a few more seconds before we might have to go back to the Handycam, Frank.
Yeah,
I think we might have to do. Not yet. Let's just make sure we're
ready to deploy.
Yeah, we might have to do a little bit more troubleshooting, basically.
Live on stream, no pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, brilliant. It wasn't.
This is not one you made earlier.
This is not one I made earlier. This is live television at its very best. So hopefully you guys will be able to see us troubleshooting this issue and everything will be fine. If not, I'm going to turn the stream off and go and cry.
It'll be fine.
Yes, it'll be fine. Let's just move my teacup. Right. We're almost rebooted back into Truenas now. It does take booting up does take a little bit of a time, but once it's booted, it can essentially stay on for indefinitely.
24/7 normally, isn't it? You'd leave something like this up. You would be in the habit of shutting it down.
Absolutely. The whole point of a server is to be up all of the time, and that's why you would use a server using an OS like FreeBSD or Linux over Windows. I mean, Windows can still be fine server software, but
I guess it's just not purpose built, right? So
yeah, exactly. Right. So let's try again. Now, do we have our device here? Let's have a look at DHCP leases. Ah, we still do not. Let's try deleting this lease. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants now, by the way.
So, do we know the IP address of the NAS?
Well, yes and no. It says it says that it's 192.168.0.100. So, I mean, we'll try that, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to work. 192.168.0.100.
I mean,
Yeah.
can we? Is it possible to search for it in this PF sense here, as we have the IP addresses listed of the
I
other
mean, this is
devices?
that, right? So this is the here we go. Zero
Incomplete.
dot. Okay, I think we've got a connection now. Now, hopefully, we'll go back to the. Okay.
I see a search box there. Is it? Can we search by IP there, or am I barking up
Yeah,
the
but
wrong tree?
everything that's leased currently shows up in here.
Hmm.
So
I don't know a lot about IP addresses. The second to last part of the IP address for the NAS is a 0, and the two devices you've got listed there are a 1 dot.
yes, that means it's on a different subnet, but
Is that a problem?
potentially. But I'm just going to go through things one at a time to figure out what's working and what's not working.
Hmm.
Now this is weird. So a moment ago, we had the IP address of the NAS, which was 0.100, and now we do not. So I'm just going to see. Uh, yeah, I think it is going to come down to something to do with the subnet, but I'm just going to try the easy stuff first.
Hmm. Is it possible that we could manually set the IP address of the device, or
Yes. So we can. The thing is, the way that the router is set up is that it will automatically assign the IP addresses. We can set a um, a static IP for the NAS in the router,
hmm.
but we could also set a static IP for the NAS in the NAS. But at the moment, the two of them aren't seeing each other.
Right? Yeah.
So I think we just have to rely on DHCP being able to just give it an address. So right now I'm just doing another quick, I guess you could say just a reconfigure of the settings. And let's see if we're able to see it now. Still no. I'm just swapping between the two inputs so I can just figure out what you guys can't see that. My apologies. The camera, as I said, the camera, we don't have a capture card set up for streaming currently. So
We'll get there.
we'll get there. Yeah, we are new to the streaming business.
Support our Patreon. Just kidding. Without the Patreon.
No, you can support us by buying PCs at gamertech.org when we are up and running, which will be in about a month's time. And also, you can go and have a look at our small NAS appliances at nastech.pro, where you'll be able to buy not this currently or something like this. Although if you get in touch and you want something like this is fine too. But you could buy a 4-bay or an 8-bay NAS with hot swappable drives. And it will do exactly the same as this. And these have 6 terabyte drives in. So we've got 12 6 terabyte drives, which I can't do that kind of math.
Don't ask me to do that.
But I think after it gets configured using the type of RAID Z2, which is what we're going to be using, I think we end up at about 50 terabytes. Now, of course, you can have, probably a very similar level of storage in just one of the smaller devices. You just get bigger drives. So you can get up to, I think 20 terabyte is the highest. Have I been saying gigabyte?
Not sure.
I just said terabyte and it felt a little bit strange, as if I hadn't said it for a while.
No,
it's definitely terabytes. Yeah. So you can get up to 20 terabyte hard drives right now. Yeah. And
that's pretty beefy.
Pretty beefy. And actually, I believe that Western Digital and Seagate are pretty close to having 35 terabyte drives as well. Right. So, I mean, as it stands currently, a 4-bay, you can get 80 terabytes of raw storage, and you probably then want to have, at the very least, you want 20 terabytes of that being used, or one drive being used for redundancy. If you're using absolutely the most mission critical files, or you're putting the most mission critical files on there, you maybe want to run it in a mirrored configuration where it's 2 drives for redundancy and 2 for storage, which means you'll have 40 gigs. I'm doing it, gigabytes. 40 terabytes of usable storage, and the rest is for redundancy. Right. Let's see if we're showing up here now. Just to be clear, by the way, this what we're experiencing right now, this troubleshooting is nothing to do with the server, and it's everything to do with the fact that I installed a new router today.
So it is your fault.
It definitely is my fault, and I probably shouldn't have done that if I knew I was going to be doing this, because earlier on this afternoon is the first time I've ever used pfSense.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
all right. Well, away we go.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think the IP address remains the same for the NAS 0.100.
Yeah, but we're still not going to be able to get to that, I believe. Let's just try again here. Yeah. So what I think is happening, it's quite possibly on a different subnet. And to be clear, I'm not a network expert or networking expert. I know some, enough to get me by. Now what is this?
There it is, and it says MAC address incomplete.
Yeah. I wonder if that just... What I'm trying to what I'm hoping to see is that over in DHCP leases, that it then leases out an IP to the NAS, which is what it's not doing at the moment. It's showing up on the ARP table, which I believe is kind of... It means it can see it, but it can't talk to it.
Right.
I
Yeah,
think.
I see.
So yeah, and that's now disappeared again. So okay, we'll have to. I think what we're going to do is a little bit of playing around in TrueNAS. So if you want to grab the camera again, Frank.
Get the loose cam. Yeah. Let's get a quick release button for this thing.
Yeah. Right. So I'm really just having a play around with this. 192.168.1.1, which is the router. 192.168.1.1. I believe I called it my PF sense, but I don't think that really makes any difference. Right, let's try that. Not sure if I have to now reboot again. Probably I should just do a reboot just to be sure. Okay. Don't 100% know if it needs a reboot, but I think it's probably good practice when you've changed around with the network settings. So we're just going to do another quick-ish reboot. So this video has now turned into something very different than I was expecting. As I said, this is 100% a network issue rather than any issue with the NAS, and it's my fault because I installed a pfSense router and I hadn't used it before. I think I can get it fixed, but this has become a bit of a different video than I was expecting. It's probably going to become a bit of a longer video than I was expecting as well, because I do not know how long it's going to take for us to figure this issue out. So I'm going to just, yeah, it's probably not booted yet. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, so it's still booting. So I'm not sure who it is that's still watching this incredibly boring stream. it might be you, Rich. I don't know. Oh, but if you've got any questions, if you want to know anything, please ask away. Happy to answer any questions, and not on advanced networking.
No.
All right, almost there. Here we go. Right, so now we'll just switch back, and we'll see if we've been able to see it on the router. Show all configured leases. No. No, it's still not showing in here either on the ORP table. So my understanding is that if it's going to show here first that this is almost the I can see you but I can't talk to you page, but once it's been given an IP address by DHCP, then it can talk, right? So, but it's just not showing here at all at the moment. I'm going to try the address that I had used for it previously, just in case. No, that's not working either. I'm really clutching at straws here. Right. I'm going to try. Oh, wrong keyboard. Oopsie. Okay. Static routes. We don't need to do that. Let's just configure the DNS again.
Oh, so that says the web user interface is at 0.100, but that's not the IP address of the box?
Well, yes, it should be.
Ah, okay.
Yes. So when I had this set up before, just using my old regular beginner level TP link router, it just works. So again, just to be clear, this is the router issue, not a NAS issue. So the there's something to do with the router and how it's not seeing the NAS, and that's what I need to figure out. And it's almost certainly, I think, because I haven't quite configured the NAS correctly. So I'm just going to wait to see if we can see this again now in this table. No. We are definitely plugged in, yes.
Basics.
So this white cable should be plugged. It's the one with the.
Shall I mark this back up and check?
It's the white cable with the white. Yes, we are plugged in, yeah, and we do have a proper connection. That's right, I can see it from now. We are definitely plugged in. I'm a little bit stumped, if I'm honest. I'm just going to try and reset the network interfaces. Oh, failed. Restarting network failed. That's interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to do a reset of the configuration to defaults. And I'm going to start again. Not with the installation, with the configuring of the IP address. So I think if we can't get this sorted soon, we will probably stop the stream and try and figure this out.
And return triumphantly at a later time.
And yes, return triumphantly at a later time, because this is just this is not interesting viewing.
That's it.
Quite frankly. So I'm going to give it one last try now.
We've got to get a please stand by screen for the stream, I think.
Yeah.
That'll be our next upgrade.
Yeah. Hi. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. We are still having some issues with our router. So again, just to be clear, this isn't an issue with the NAS itself. This is an issue with the router that I installed earlier today. And this is just, I should have not done it before a stream. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little bit more troubleshooting off stream. And if we can't get it fixed, we're going to just switch back over to the regular, easy to use router and just fire back up and then go back to where we were and carry on. So, or we might have to do that another day if we can't get it working. So, apologize for the change in schedule and for the very uninteresting stream. Uh, this is not what was meant to be on the agenda, but we'll be back again soon to try and we'll be back again soon after figuring this out, and then we'll do the rest of the video, and hopefully it'll be much more interesting. So thanks very much. If anyone's still watching, thank you, appreciate it. Might just be, yeah, I know you're watching, Frank, thank you. So we will be back soon. Please remember to like and subscribe at all of the usual places on YouTube, and go to gamertech.org and nastech.pro for your custom gaming PCs and your NAS appliances. Thank you very much.